Most people don't realize that romantic fantasy can feel more powerful than real love. It can feel safer, more intense, more magical. And that is exactly where the danger begins. Romantic fantasy is not just daydreaming. It is the mind creating a version of someone that feels perfect, destined, almost larger than life. By the end of this, you will understand why the brain clings to these fantasies, how they quietly distort relationships, and how to recognize when imagination is replacing reality. Romantic fantasy exists because the brain loves prediction and reward. When you imagine an ideal partner, your brain releases dopamine. Dopamine is not the chemical of love, it is the chemical of anticipation. It rewards you for imagining what could happen, not what is happening. That anticipation can feel intoxicating. The mind fills in gaps with best-case scenarios. A delayed text becomes mysterious rather than careless. A small gesture becomes proof of destiny. You are not responding to who they are. You are responding to the story you have built around them. And here is the subtle shift. The less you actually know someone, the easier it is to romanticize them. When information is limited, imagination expands. The brain prefers a compelling narrative over uncertainty, so it creates one. This is why early stages of attraction often feel electric. You are not just meeting a person, you are projecting possibility onto them. Have you ever felt deeply attached to someone you barely knew? That intensity is often fantasy filling in empty space. Romantic fantasy also protects you from vulnerability. Real love requires seeing flaws. It requires negotiating differences. It requires disappointment and repair. Fantasy requires none of that. In fantasy, the other person always understands you. They always choose you. They never challenge your self-image. In other words, fantasy feels safe. But safety built on illusion has a cost. When you idealize someone, you stop seeing them clearly. Red flags appear softer. Inconsistencies become charming quirks. You interpret behavior in ways that preserve the fantasy. This is not stupidity, it is cognitive bias. The brain filters information to protect the emotional investment it has already made. This is where the dark side begins to show. Because the higher the pedestal, the harder the fall. When reality eventually contradicts the fantasy, the pain feels disproportionate. You were not just grieving a person, you were grieving the imagined future your brain rehearsed repeatedly. The vacations you pictured, the conversations you never had, the version of yourself that existed inside that dream. Let me ask you something. When a relationship ended, did it hurt more because of what happened or because of what you thought would happen? Often, it is the second. Romantic fantasy also distorts self-worth. When you build someone up as extraordinary, you may unconsciously position yourself as lucky to be chosen. Their attention feels like validation. Their withdrawal feels like proof of inadequacy. This dynamic can create emotional dependency, not on the person, but on the feeling they represent. The brain begins to associate them with relief, excitement, and hope. When they pull away, your nervous system reacts as if a reward has been removed. You crave resolution. You replay memories. You search for signs that the fantasy might still be true. This is why inconsistency can be so addictive. Intermittent reinforcement strengthens attachment. Occasional affection mixed with distance can intensify longing. The brain becomes focused on regaining the high of possibility. You are chasing not the person, but the emotional spike. Now consider how culture amplifies this. Movies, music, and stories often glorify intensity over stability. The dramatic reunion, the love that conquers all, the idea that if it feels overwhelming, it must be profound. But intensity is not the same as compatibility. Compatibility is quiet. It is built through consistency, communication, and shared values. Fantasy is loud. It thrives on mystery and extremes. One feels cinematic, the other feels ordinary. Yet long-term fulfillment usually grows from the ordinary.
That contrast can be uncomfortable to accept. Another hidden danger of romantic fantasy is projection. Sometimes we fall in love with traits we wish we had ourselves. Confidence, freedom, emotional depth. We see those qualities in someone else and attach to them, believing proximity will complete us. But when you project unmet needs onto a partner, you stop seeing them as separate from your desires. You are relating to an ideal, not a human being. Have you ever realized later that you loved who you thought someone was, not who they actually were? That awareness can feel disorienting, but it is also liberating. Romantic fantasy can also prevent growth. If you believe someone is your perfect match, you may tolerate dynamics that limit you. You justify imbalance. You wait for them to change because the story says they will. The narrative becomes more important than your well-being. Fantasy whispers, "This is special. Do not let it go." Reality quietly asks, "But is this healthy?" The brain resists giving up fantasy because it invested energy in building it. There's a psychological concept known as the sunk cost effect. The more time and emotion you invest, the harder it is to walk away, even when evidence suggests you should. So you double down, you reinterpret, you hope. But here's a surprising truth. The intensity of romantic fantasy often says more about your inner world than about the other person. Fantasy reveals longing. It reveals unmet emotional needs. It reveals parts of you that want connection, validation, adventure, security. The person becomes a canvas onto which those needs are painted. This does not mean love is an illusion. Real love exists, but it is different from fantasy. Real love deepens over time. It tolerates imperfection. It survives ordinary days. It feels less like a dramatic high and more like steady warmth. The dark side of romantic fantasy is not that it feels good, it's that it can overshadow reality. When you're consumed by fantasy, you may overlook partners who are emotionally available because they don't trigger fireworks. You may dismiss stability as boring. You may confuse anxiety with chemistry. Pause and reflect. Does calm feel unfamiliar to you in relationships? If so, your nervous system may be more attuned to unpredictability than security. Awareness changes everything. When you notice yourself idealizing, gently question the narrative. What do I actually know about this person? What evidence supports my belief? What evidence challenges it? Bringing curiosity into fantasy softens its grip. You don't need to eliminate imagination. Romance includes imagination, but grounding it in observable behavior protects you from distortion. There's also compassion in this process. Romantic fantasy is human. It begins in childhood stories. It's reinforced by culture. It's fueled by loneliness and hope. The goal is not to shame yourself for dreaming. It is to integrate dreams with discernment. Because when fantasy dominates, disappointment follows. But when imagination and reality coexist, connection becomes more stable. In the end, the dark side of romantic fantasy is not about being foolish. It's about mistaking potential for proof. It's about loving the idea of someone more than their actions. It's about confusing intensity with intimacy. When you begin to see this clearly, something shifts. You stop chasing emotional highs and start valuing emotional safety. You stop asking, "Does this feel magical?" and start asking, "Is this consistent? Is this mutual? Is this real?" That shift protects your heart without closing it. If this resonates, take a moment to reflect on a time when fantasy shaped your perception of someone. What did you project? What did you ignore? Share your thoughts if you feel comfortable. And if you want to continue exploring the psychology behind love and attraction, consider subscribing. Understanding your inner patterns is one of the most powerful forms of self-respect.